IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today with me in the studio, I have Kubbra Sait. Hi Kubbra, how are you doing?
Hi, long time no see, Ash.
I know, it's been like since morning. So I have seen Kubbra grow from the last, I think, 2-3 years. When was the first time we met? About 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah?
At a wedding.
At a wedding. And it's been such a dramatic change in the way that her work life has changed. And one of the things that I've always admired about her is the way that she's handled it or protected her energy. And I thought the habits that she uses for protecting energy are very important to share with you all.
Wow, thank you. I didn't know you think of me so highly.
So, Kubs, when I say your energy, how do you go about protecting it? Like, what has the change been over the last couple of years with you?
So I think when I met you like 2 years ago, I was popular, as compared to tasting. Okay, I still don't know what fame is. So it's not me being prude or arrogant when I say this. It's just the shift, There are more people who know you. There are more people who seek you, more people who want to be, in touch with you. With your energy, with your presence, right? So that has kind of, changed the game for me. Earlier, I would be like, yay, this is lovely. But now people know your name. People want a selfie with you. People want to walk up and, hug you. And that's a lot of exchange of energy. Just
Correct.
The aura gets exchanged, right? And there are times when it can get super, super draining. So in most cases, after a long event, after many selfies, after many smiles, and I try my best, to consciously smile for every photograph that I give, because for me it is that 1 second of that person's life.
Correct.
That they're investing in my life.
Yeah.
And wanting to take a picture with me. I want to make that moment memorable for them.
And you can see the energy in the
and
pictures.
I can see the energy. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I try my best to do that. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of me that I am, depleting. So when I come back home, there are times when I'm running on reserve. So I take a deep breath, I meditate, I take a salt water bath, and that just allows me to kind of get back into myself.
Right.
And then when I sleep and wake up in the morning, most days I'm feeling better than what I felt when I went back to sleep. So that is something that I do in order to protect my energy.
Okay.
I don't know what the idea behind a salt bath is. I'm sure you would know that better. But somehow it just works for me. Somewhere, just knowing that you're grounded, you're there, you're one with the earth, one with the water, just the elements, and then you go back to sleep with gratitude, saying, wow, what a great day it was.
Correct. I think this whole salt water bath is so important because it just pulls out whatever has happened through the day. Even I don't know the mechanisms of it.
I don't know.
It is probably something to do with earthing, but it feels so good after doing it, and I highly recommend it.
I remember, when you have like a lot of muscle ache as well, they ask you to soak your feet in salt water. I think it's also because it just loosens up the muscles.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you're like in a particular pose and you're smiling and you're trying to, interact with people, there's some level of stress that just accumulates around your back, your shoulders, and just to be able to rub salt on it and just stay where you are with yourself.
Right.
And I really mean it, with your naked self, where you can see and communicate with your soul.
Correct.
That is your time. And you're not being judged in that time. I think that the release, the tension, just flowing away with the water, and just you, being like, thank you. It's been a grateful day. And then you go to sleep. I think that is something that...
Nice. One other thing you should try is a foot soak with salt water and Epsom salts.
Yeah, Epsom salt.
Right? Epsom salts are magnesium, and magnesium starts relaxing the muscles. So just while you're watching TV, put your feet in that and you can see parts of your muscles start to relax. So it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, unless you're watching Game of Thrones.
Oh, then it's just everything is
then everything is just
oh my God, they killed him again. So, you said use this word 2-3 times, gratitude. and gratefulness. And there is something that you do which I find fascinating. Do you want to share this with the listeners?
Yeah, so I have this beautiful cupboard. It's a hand-painted cupboard in the middle of my living room. And top of it lies this jar, which is a gratitude jar. My mom actually brought that for me when she was traveling. And as a practice, if anything good, no matter how tiny it is, if it's something good and I'm happy about it, I actually make a note of it in different colored chits of paper and I drop it in. And then there are days when you're like feeling really sad.
Mm-hmm.
They happen to all of us. So I just reach out to that jar, pick up one thing that made me really happy and I was grateful for, and just, it's amazing how it just lightens up your day instantly.
It's magic.
Yeah, it's magical.
Right.
Magical to have gratitude because it just makes you so happy for you to just reflect upon how far you feel you are from yourself.
Correct.
And then you realize how far you've come.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And we keep throwing around this word gratitude. Oh, you should do this, you should have a gratitude diary, etc. But this is an example of how it's actually practically used.
Yeah.
Right? To make you feel so good when life around you might be falling apart.
Yeah. And you just take that 1 second going like, oh my God, I am so distant from myself.
Mm-hmm.
But look how far I've come.
Look how far I've come.
Look how far I've come. So I remember the other day I was feeling really, really low.
Mm-hmm.
And I randomly, right? So it's like a little, it's the fishbowl thing, right?
Yep.
It's a lucky draw. You pick anything out of it.
You have no idea what's coming out.
Yeah. So I picked something out and it was the first day that I shot for Sacred Games.
Oh.
And it was such a great day.
Right.
And I'm not trying to plug this in. It really happened. So some of those strangest things happen to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, look how far I've come.
The first time I saw Kubbra putting something inside, it was something random that happened to her on the road. Some watchman helped her out with something, so she just wrote it down and put it. I'm like, that's such a nice idea. Like, instead of writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day, just have this in the bowl, pick it up and see how you feel.
Yeah, no, because this happens to me, right? I always forget my wallet.
Yeah.
Or I'm never carrying enough cash. So I'm this person who's not afraid to ask anybody for money. Because I don't know, I think I have a sincerity that reflects in my eyes or something. I'm like, Baba,
Uncle, paisa do na.
Baba, 20 rupiya do na, auto ke liye. And they give it to me. And I'm so grateful that they trust me.
Ye lo 10 rupeya samosa ke liye. Kuch kha lo beta.
So then I come back and I return it to them. But for them to actually reach out and help me when I'm in need.
Yeah.
I think that is something I'm grateful
and
for.
without getting anything in return.
Yeah, they don't know if I'm going to return it to them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they do help. So, yeah.
And there's one more thing that I wanted you to talk about.
Yeah.
And share this because I think it's extremely important. We haven't done an episode on this yet, but it's about visualization, right? It's your little whiteboard where you put down all your thoughts. Do you want to share that with people?
So I have 2 boards.
Okay.
Which I wake up to every morning. So the right side of my board is the whiteboard is the one where I erase my things to do and I write down, my schedule for the week and everything. So I'm very clear on what I need.
Yep.
Also, on your podcast, you spoke about how you need to write things to do before you go to bed.
Correct.
I actually write that down on the whiteboard. So when I wake up in the morning, I know
exactly what you have to do.
Exactly what I need to accomplish.
Yep.
And this could be like basic miscellaneous sundry stuff to finish. But I wake up to something called the dream board.
Okay.
So I have these little cat-like post-its which I stick on it.
Right.
And these are the things that I visualize or I have goals for. Like I want to work with Rajkumar Rao in a film. So that's on that board. I want to be on the cover of magazines. So I've actually put down the name of the magazines that I want to be. And it was cool because I wrote it down and I wake up, I read this. And I actually made it to the cover of a magazine.
Yeah. So
sometimes it's just bizarre. Like
how these things happen.
I just wrote it there. And I'm not kidding you. I have like Vogue written on it.
Right.
And the next issue, I think we're going to be on Vogue. So it's just crazy. In Vogue.
On Vogue, yeah.
or in Vogue. Okay. But yeah. But it's closer.
Right.
And when you see yourself inching closer to the dream that you see, you realize that it's something that you truly believe can happen. And then you push yourself to make it happen. And when it happens, it's just like, that was a trapdoor I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's completely left of field.
Yeah.
It's just you've been visualizing it. You've been saying that should happen. This is what I want to happen. This is what I want to happen. And suddenly out of nowhere, no idea how these dots connect.
Yeah.
And boom.
Yeah. And I also remember I used to write, I would like to be at. And then somebody corrected me, and that's my godfather. He corrected me and he said, don't write, I want to be at. Write, I am at. So it's more affirmative.
Correct. It's already happened.
It's already happened.
Yes.
So when it actually happens, I'm like, oh, did that really happen? Did I write that? It is shocking. But it's so like beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And I love this. I love this podcast because there are so many practical and mystical things we've spoken about. Right? We've spoken about your to-do list is extremely practical.
Yeah.
And then this magic of gratitude and visualization, which are all extremely touchy-feely things, right? Because there is no science behind this, but it happens in real life. And it like, for example, this podcast.
Right.
Right? I had set my mind saying that I want a podcast. I want to do a podcast by the end of last year. And I have no idea how the stars aligned and this happened.
The fault in our stars, the blessing in our stars.
Completely. Superb.
Well, thank you so much, Ash.
Thank you so much, Kubbra, for coming and sharing these with us.
You're so cute, Ash.
Do you like my whole serious podcast avatar?
I love it. Thank you. And I think you're the only podcast I really listen to at the moment. So,
yay!
Yay!
Yay to the habit coach.
Yay to the habit coach.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
India's a massive subcontinent, home to truly stunning diversity. Behind the veils of smoke that obscure our thriving cities, our history is still alive, glimmering like sequins, waiting to be discovered. And if you, like me, are straining to hear the echoes of our past, this podcast is for you. I'm Anirudh Kanisetti, a history and geopolitics researcher, and I host Echoes of India, a history podcast about India, by Indians and for Indians. In Echoes, we journey through the complex histories of South Asia and what they can teach us about our globalized world. Tune in every Wednesday on ivmpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.
Think fast. If I tell you I'm Parsi, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Dhansak. I don't blame you. My name is Parzan Patel. You may know me as the Bhavi Bride. Though I run a popular Parsi food blog, the truth is I didn't know anything about Parsi food until I got married. It was just my luck. He turned out to be your typical sadra lega wearing, kawab khari eating Parsi boy. And the only thing I knew was dhansak, or rather, how to eat it. But there's more to Parsi food than dhansak. And there is more to us than our obsession with eggs and our legendary Irani cafes. Welcome to Not Just Dhansak, a fresh new show where I talk to friends, fellow Babas and Parsi entrepreneurs about all things Bhonu. A little bit of history, a dash of Baba madness and a lot of food talk. There's more to Parsis than meets the eye, and there's certainly more to us than Dhansak. Join me every Tuesday as I talk to some of my favorite Parsis in the food space in India and beyond. I am the Bhavi Bride and this is Not Just Dhansak.